When it's Sunday and it's 8 p.m., I am just about to make your evening. Guess what? It's coffee with MBUVI time. Did I need to tell you that? And there's always coffee. Au sio? Kama kawaida, take a sip. Relax and enjoy. Now, ever wondered when we die, what happens? Where do we go? When you die twice, you resurrect twice. What if you're paralyzed? Mguu yani ulikuwa unatembea then all of a sudden usikii mguu ama any other part of your body. The guest I have, this sounds supernatural, has experienced this and more. Na ni mwanamuziki kama mimi. Na amekuwa na hits, yani alimba wimbo manze Nigeria ikashika Afrika nzima, dunia nzima. Up to now it trends. The guest I have today is a beautiful lady and her name is Esther Liana. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Mambo?
I'm good.
Ebu introduce, tell people who Esther Liana is.
So my name is Esther Liana. The most important thing is I'm born again and Christ is the Lord of my life. Mm-hmm. And a founder and executive director of Growth, that is Generation Riding on Wisdom.
Yes.
A musician, a minister.
Yes.
You know, anything that God wants me to do, that's where I'm found.
Does that anything include being a board of directors in a radio station?
You didn't have to mention.
Did I just get you right there?
Oh, Jesus. You didn't have to mention, yes.
Now that I've mentioned ongezea.
Yeah, I am the youngest member of Diaspora Hope Media.
Yes.
That is based both in Kenya and US.
You know, I was looking at that board of directors, and I was just seeing Pastor, Bishop, Pastor, Bishop, Pastor, Bishop, Esther Liana, Pastor, Bishop, Pastor. How did you get there?
Well, we never know. Maybe that's the journey. Oh God, no, but maybe that's the journey God wants me to go.
You know? Yeah. Now, in a summary format, ulitoka wapi kabla ufike kwa muziki uje unaweza imba?
Okay.
Where did you come from? Origins.
Born and raised in Nairobi, but our family I was born and raised in Nairobi. Our family is very musical. So from way back, I've been singing at a very young age. So I cannot say that I started singing at a certain age. I was singing just as I grew up. I started serving in the altar at the age of 5, singing the praise and worship. So I've always been in church throughout my life. My dad is a bishop.
I was going to ask that.
Yes.
Because when I'm in church, 5 years old, how?
So yeah, he is a bishop, but then he was a manager at Postbank, and my mom is a teacher.
My mom worked at Postbank, by the way.
Yes, I remember meeting her.
I also guzad kidogo, casual.
Yes.
Now that you were born in Nairobi, let me ask you a quick quiz. Do you know what, now that you're born in Nairobi, do you know what Kanairo is? Kanairo,
no.
Kanairo is Nairobi.
Oh, okay.
It's a new, don't worry, I learned it last week, so I'm just bringing it on you.
It's well.
So school in Nairobi, where did you school?
I went to Mwangaza Primary School.
Where is that? I've not heard of it.
In Kayole.
Okay.
And then Tala Girls High School, Ukambani.
Yes.
And then Kenyatta University, graduate there.
Why do many people think you're an artist of Nigerian origin?
Probably because of the songs I sing. I sing in Igbo dialect, so I think people tend to associate me more with Nigerians than Kenyans. Yeah.
Igbo. There's something you're telling me about, this is knowledge I'm trying to pack from you and share with the rest of the world. There's something you told about Igbo, Kamba, and Sijui. Who from the Southern African part?
They're called what? Oh, geez.
Those ones?
Yeah.
What is the relation?
We came from the same, actually we are Bantus, so we share a lot of cultural similarities. So it's easy to pick a word from these tribes and relate to them. So it's not that very hard.
Any particular word you can think of Ama nimekupata by surprise. Itakuja tu as we
got
continue.
It will come.
It will come
as we continue.
as we continue. And you're very elegant. What drives your style?
Hallelujah, Jesus. Thank. When you're in the kingdom, when your father is the king, you need to look the part, you know.
Kwanza purple, rangi ya royal. Is this purple? Though? I might be bragging and it's not purple. I think guys at home are telling me, Buvi, you're a man. You don't know colors at all. Okay, that's purple though.
It has a plum look. It's plum.
Ladies, are you born with a dictionary for colors? Where do you get some colors? Maybe yellow. Siji what?
Well, God, you know, when man was created, it was just packaged once. But as he took time to package every other thing that men did not have.
I'm not buying this. So you were born in Nairobi.
Yes.
Bishop Nairobi. Mm-hmm. Then what happened immediately when you were born?
So when I was born, and then at the age of 2 years, I was poisoned.
What kind of poison?
Rat poison.
Why would somebody?
Well, sometimes you can never understand people, but yes, I was poisoned.
It was intentional poison.
It was
poisoned by accident.
intentional. It was intentional poison to finish me completely. But then, so by the time, those days when I was born, I'm not very young, so those days they never used to be mobile phones and stuff. So my dad says, my mom had come, they were newly married, you know, the firstborn, I'm the firstborn.
Well.
And by the time my mom got home, and she was just, we had come from somewhere, and then she got home, I became very sick. And getting sick, I started conversing. My dad had gone out. And then after job, he went to do his counseling because he was doing his work at Postbank. And then...
Who had you been left with at that time?
My mom was still with me because I was 2 years.
Yes.
Yes. So my mom was going with me anywhere we could go. And when she came home, because we had come from somewhere, so when we came home, I started conversing because I was poisoned where we came from. I'm avoiding talking about the place.
So it's not actually at home or a maid, it's a place you are in?
No, it's a place and somebody known. So yes. So
they targeted only you, not even your mom?
Yeah.
They wanted to torture your mom and dad or something of that sort?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
So the person who did that, so when I came home, I started conversing.
Right.
And then I passed. And my mom, the way she held me on her arms, I was the firstborn. She had never had any baby. We were in South Sea by then.
Right.
You don't know anybody.
She's learning on the job.
Yeah, she's learning. She doesn't know people. And then she was like, now what do we do? And then that time there were no mobile phones. So my dad didn't know we had come home. So he just went, after work, went to do some premarital counseling for some people.
Oh my.
And then came back at midnight. So I stayed for like 6-7 hours dead, on the laps. And my mom was mad. Actually, Dad says, he's never seen my mom mad, that mad. So when my dad comes home, he finds a dead dead baby with a mad wife. And that is the time, the devil speaks, this wife is going to leave you. And those times, my dad says they had radical faith. It is not like these days, people, we are playing faith. Those times, it's either God does it or does it. There was not two ways about it. So my dad took me outside and he lifted me up and he told God, he reminded God of his promises that we shall see the seeds of our seed and they will live to testify of his goodness. So he kept on telling God, I cannot serve you and the first seed I have is gone. Yeah. So he lifted me up and started praying. And he says he had something like a bomb.
Like a what?
A bomb. Yeah. And what came out was the poison. It came out and messed up. I wherever on him, the feces were all over his wherever. And the poison came out and it had coiled like a stone.
What?
Yeah, and then I sneezed, came back to life. So what they did is they just picked whatever and wrapped it and rushed me to Mater Hospital. That's the hospital where I'm assigned to. So they rushed me to Mater Hospital, and when the tests were done on my body, the doctor said there's no possible way that this girl is supposed to be alive. The kind of poison that is still in her system.
The concentration.
Yeah,
or
it was.
Even the poison that is still there in the system
it's still
at that
in
time.
the system, because they had to do the analysis on the poison and do tests on my body, and they were like, she's not supposed to be alive. And my dad told them, she had gone, but God had raised.
You said, so 6 to 7 hours at home,
Yes.
you had no pulse.
Yes.
When it takes, I remember I am a fan of soccer, and there's a guy, I can't remember where he's coming from, and he lost breath for like about 60, 70 seconds.
Yeah.
When he came back, he cannot play football anymore. So I'm thinking yours was 6 to 7 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you right now.
Well, what I tell people is that when you're a child of destiny, when you're called for a purpose, it doesn't matter the kind of things that the devil will bring your way.
Right.
Definitely, God will reserve you. He will preserve you for your purpose. So
Right.
you cannot just be, go like that. And I thank God for that. But then it took like a few, because that was in January. Then April, we went to the village.
Now you're back, you're normal.
Yeah, normal. I'm a little bit. I don't even.
Were you taken again to the hospital for them? Maybe a couple
Actually,
of
I
days
slept
for
there.
them? Oh, you slept in the hospital
Yeah, I
until
slept
the
there.
poison is.
Yeah, they flashed out the whole whatever, and then immediately, because my mom was heavily pregnant for a second born, so immediately it didn't take long. My mom delivered our
Yes.
second born,
Right.
and then in April, because it's during the holidays, we went to the village.
Yes.
I think you've seen my grandma. So we used
Yes,
to
in
go
your video.
and see her and visit with her. And I was left there. My dad was going to preach somewhere. So I was left there. I developed measles. And then when my mom was going to preach, they had gone to preach somewhere.
Yeah.
And immediately, my dad was about to stand. He receives a message, your daughter is gone.
Yeah.
Your daughter is dead.
Is it 3 months later?
Yes. So that time, my shosh was the one who was
Taking
with
care of
me,
you,
taking
yeah.
care of me
Yeah.
in the village. So she sent my cousin to go and tell them the child is gone. And that time, my dad is about to stand on the altar to preach. So he had the option of leaving the preaching and going to bury the dead, or continuing with the preaching and then deal with the issue later. So my dad decided to preach and tell my mom, go and see what is happening. So he preached, and then after the service, that's when he breaks the news to the people, my daughter, we got the information that she's died, and we can just say a word of thanksgiving. It was not...
Hold two up.
Yes.
So your dad decided to tell God,
Thank you.
I am continuing to take care of your business. Take care of mine at home. I need more of that story when we come back. This is Coffee with Movie. We're right back. Why am I Nastama? Ebindaya tanu, ebindaya moyo, ebindaya time, ebindaya nguma, kwataka wayaka kwataka view. Hey, what's up? My name is MBUVI, and thank you. For the last 3 months, we've been watching Coffee with MBUVI. Nasema ni asante, nashukuru. Thank you for the suggestions, for the opinions, for the suggestions of who you want us to have, and the better ideas of how we can modify this show to suit you as best as possible. Nataka niwawish Merry Christmas, Happy Brand New Year 2021. Au sio? It will be bigger, greater, fuller, excellent. Au sio? I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New 2021, yo.
we let you take us through your journey.
The report of the scan came out. The doctor told us that the scan is showing my baby had already passed on.
I don't like people standing too close to me. I don't like people standing behind me.
And give hope after beating all odds. This is TV 47. Happy holidays.
We are back, Coffee with MBUVI. Niko na Esther Liana na akona story ngumu. Kuna watu nyumbani wanauliza ni wewe mara ya pili ulienda ama ni sister yako? Clarify.
Me, definitely me, and it's been a journey. I was shy telling my story because it's not a normal story, but then as you grow in the word, you understand that testimonies are there for somebody who has gone through or is going through an issue to understand that it is not impossible with God. And God is not short of doing miracles. We shortchange God by saying, you know, these things are impossible. But He is a God who does the possibilities.
I heard somebody say,
yeah,
when you come running to the pastor and tell the pastor, hey, pray for me, niko na homa. Nakwambia, tuombe. Father, heal this person of this homa. Mwingine anakuja akiambia niko na malaria. Father, God, heal this person for this malaria. Mtu anakuja na cancer. Oh, this is a big one. We need to fast and pray. And yet,
and God has given the authority to us to just speak the word, and it is, and that's where my journey began. So after that, there was I was being taken to the mortuary actually.
So what we are saying right now is the information I reached the dad that she's died a second time.
So after that, my dad sends my mom home, tells her to take me to the mortuary, or they meet halfway, because in the village, you understand, those days you had to walk. There were no vehicles, you had to walk. There was not, you had to walk for like 3 hours. It was a 3 hours walk. And then going to the hospital, it's a crazy thing. So the thing is, people witness that because I didn't die like hidden. It was in where people are witnessing and they are saying, this is a dead body. And I was being taken to the mortuary.
Oh my.
And then as I was being taken to the mortuary, my dad was concluding, and they decided with the whole congregation, now we are going to say sorry, you know, after that. So on their way, they met at the middle, and these people, when they, you know, the village life, the way it is, like these people sing, they don't care. They were going singing and, you know, worshiping God on the way as they were, you know, taking my dad. Oh, trust me, I still admire my dad's faith.
I still want to know what was the sermon that day. I would love. Can you remember? Ask him.
I will ask him.
What did he preach about?
Yes,
and how did he maintain that stuff?
I think even people still remember to date the sermon. So as they were coming, so they started singing and praising, and you know there was those days you're talking about 80s. It's not something that it was not the salvation of chance. It was just real salvation, and you know as they were doing that, my mom had me kick.
As they were praising.
Yes.
This is hours later now when you've met at the mortuary.
I'm being taken to the mortuary. Yes, because it's a walk. There are no vehicles. So they are walking, and they had to pour water on me.
So they are walking even you want to start walking. Can I help you guys walk?
I actually kicked. And then I started, I'm very fond of my dad. So I started asking for my dad. Where's dad? Where's dad?
So, is that what you say?
Yep. you know. But, and you know, they started shouting. My she was just excited about, people started celebrating, and became a crusade. I'm trying to cut the story short. It became a crusade, and you know, God's miracle. This is the second time, and the faith was elated, and people who see me today, they do not understand how that was possible, but it happened, and I think that's why my church became very close to me and very protective of me throughout my journey until she passed in 2018. Okay. So After that, I grew normally, and then went to primary school, and the call of God came to my life. But I was very stubborn. In those days, salvation was not the in thing for us young people.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
you say you're born again, people laugh at you.
You're out of it. You're not
you're not stylish.
Home.
So I needed to maintain my stylish nature and also fit into the society.
Yes.
But then God is calling me to serve Him in primary school in class 7, and I was like, no. And what God did is He took my voice for 3 months. I became dumb. For 3 months, I was taken to hospitals. They did all the scans for cancer, everything, and there was nothing. And the only alternative now, I knew what was bothering me. So my aunt and my cousin, who were living with us then, just decided, okay, let's just do this. Why don't you give your life to Jesus? They were just playing, you know, this like, you need to confess to one and then when I was confessing, I confessed with my voice.
Whoa.
And my voice came back. So I started my journey of salvation in class 7.
That at least you can remember. The 2-year-old you can't remember.
No,
obviously.
2 years.
Too young.
2-year-old is what I'm told by the people who witness. But now, from now, class 7, I can be able to tell you the journey of my life and what it has been. And it's been a journey of pain. And from that, in class 7, I gave my life to Jesus. Then I went to Form 1.
Before you go there, so you were deaf? I mean, you were
dumb,
but
yes.
you are not deaf?
No.
You could hear?
I used to write.
You hear something, you write back and tell guys?
When you ask, I write what I need to, and then when I gave my life to Jesus, my voice came back. And I have been, you know, the only punishment that God could do is because I love singing. And the only thing that He could do was take my voice
away.
And that voice, when
Let me
it
ask
was
a weird
taken.
question.
Yes.
I don't think I am weird.
Yes.
It's a question that is weird.
Okay.
So if somebody cracked a joke at that time, if you laugh, was there sound?
No, there was not. It's like, it sounds like a whisper.
Or like muted, like on TV.
It has a whisper in it. So,
oh man.
But it was not funny when when you're going through it. It's not funny.
Yeah.
It's a struggle because I loved singing. I loved life and my
bubbly. So obviously.
So after that, I went in Form 2, I'm trying to cut the story short. In Form 2, I had my intestines collapsed. They stopped functioning.
Why is all these things happening? Are you the female version of Job in the Bible?
So actually, because I'm writing a book, I tend to put myself there because that's just now the beginning of now my trials and pain. Now that giving my life to Jesus was the beginning of pain.
Of now,
of going through the hardship in salvation. So after that, Form 2, I had my intestine collapse. They had to actually put me in my and then they had to put me on machines. So that they can make it functional. In Form 4, to cut the story short, 2 weeks to my exam, I fell down. I was the school captain, the CU chair lady.
Hold on. I know we need to rush the story.
Yes.
But the intestines are still blocked from our version of the story. Even Form 4, they are still blocked.
No, I was taken to the hospital. They used machines and it got well. And then in Form 4 now, I was the school captain and the CU chair lady, and I fell down when I was doing my final rounds to inspect the schools. I fell down, hit my head. Yes, I hit my head, and my brain twisted, and I got a brain damage. So my eyes rolled in. Like the only thing you could see was the the white thing, and then my mouth came to this direction, and my right side got paralyzed. Now this is the worst thing. I stayed in school Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The matron did not take me to the hospital, and the deputy was in the school. So I stayed in school Friday, Saturday, Sunday. When I am like that.
Why in the world?
that's how
you're the school captain.
Yes.
For crying out loud.
That's how you know some things are not normal. You know, it's warfare. Because when the people who are supposed to take care of you are not even concerned about it, and you're the school captain, it was something traumatizing.
These things are going beyond even my biggest enemy. If that happens to them, I'll still rush them to the hospital. This goes beyond...
I don't think it's actually because the deputy was born again. So it was, sometimes you have to look, as you mature in the word, you understand. Then I could not understand.
Right.
But now I understand it was more warfare, because I think I'm not supposed to, the mark of the devil is that I'm not supposed to live. But then it's a battle of destiny.
Right.
And sometimes you have to understand that when these things are happening, you don't look at them with the physical eyes, but the spiritual eyes. So I stayed Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
And on Monday, as the principal came in, the students were almost rioting. Because this is the captain. If this can happen, what will happen? And that time, I remember my desk mate, her name was Pascaline. She used to squeeze milk, like take bread and put it in milk and then squeeze it in my mouth so that it can, because I could not, I'm paralyzed. I can't, So
you actually ended up paralyzed.
I was paralyzed. I was, now, so that you can get the story. So I was rushed to Kangundo Hospital and they did a CT scan. So when they did that CT scan, I was told, actually what they told the matron, and they called the school. They said, you pray that the parents do not sue the school, because this girl is not going to reach Nairobi. Why? I had brain damage. My brain was damaged completely, and then my eyes had rolled in, and I was paralyzed on my right side. And remember, that is 2 weeks to my exam, my final exam. Yes.
Oh my God.
So what the principal did is she took her own car, told the matron and our driver. They drove me to Nairobi and called my parents and told them, your daughter is not in a good position. We need to meet somewhere in Russia. I was recommended to be taken to Kenyatta Hospital, but then my cards were in Mata. So when my mom met at Caltex, she just picked me like this and said, no. I refused with the life of my daughter.
Parents. Gosh.
And she held me, because I couldn't talk. I could hear what people were saying, but I couldn't talk. Remember, I'm paralyzed on my right side. My mouth was, I can hear what people are saying. And when I was taken to Mata Hospital, this is what the doctor said. This girl is as good as useless person. Actually, they call me, they use the word cabbage. Amekuwa cabbage. Huyu hatawahi kuwa anywhere, because the brain is already destroyed. And I stayed in Mata Hospital. And that time, I remember, because I was very fiery even in school. And I remember when I had those words, I kept on saying, God, those are not my words. Those are not my words. That is not the life that I am supposed to live as a child of God. And I began in my spirit, within me, I kept on telling God, remember that I am your servant. And if you don't do this for me, people are going to say that God is defeated.
Yeah.
And the shame is not going to be on me, it's going to be on you, because people don't know me as Esther. They know that girl who is born again. Because I gave my life at and I was very radical in salvation.
Yes, you chairman.
So it was like either God does it or does it. There was not two ways about it. Because even when I was in school, I was preaching and miracles were happening. You can imagine praying and people getting filled in tongues, people getting healed, paralysis, people getting out of their situation. So this is somebody who is praying for people. And then now she's in a position where she cannot be able to do anything. God had to do it. And the promises of God was that I was supposed to live and serve him. So if I'm not living, then it doesn't make sense. So at that point, I was in the hospital, and I remember just the way the doctors would come and say, we are just keeping her to see her gone, And I remember my parents would come, and we have a family doctor who would also come and, he's born again. And they would pray. People come and pray and believe God for something. And I remember one night, something happened in the hospital, and there was a whole surgical experience. When I tell people that there are spare parts in heaven, they are, because the brain I have right now is not what I had. My brain is damaged. When a doctor declares that your brain is damaged, it's like a computer. You can't reverse it. You can, if the memory yake ikiharibika, it's done. I have to get another one. So my brain was damaged. God had to restore my brain. And then I remember it was 2 days to my exam. And I had, it's like something that was being fixed in my brain, and there was a big light in the hospital.
Hold on to that thought of light.
Yes.
Your light nataka ingie sana. Kwanza ile light iko pale imenichoma sana. I think I need a break and a coffee sip. But before I do that, I think your mom's prayers were hard because she prayed in Kikamba. It's impactful. I said, "Kana kapa ke try coffee sip." We'll be back. This is Coffee with Movie. Moving. Ebindaya tanu, ebindaya moyo, ebindaya time, ebindaya nguma, kwateka vyo. Hey, what's up? My name is Movie, and thank you. For the last 3 months, we've been watching Coffee with Movie. Nasema ni asante, nashukuru. Thank you for the suggestions, for the opinions, for the suggestions of who you want us to have, and the better ideas of how we can modify this show to suit you as best as possible. Nataka niwawish Merry Christmas, Happy Brand New Year 2021. Au sio? It will be bigger, greater, fuller, excellenter. Au sio? I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New 2021, yo.
We let you take us through your journey.
The report of the scan came out. The doctor told us that the scan is showing my baby had already passed on.
I don't like people standing too close to me. I don't like people standing behind me.
And give hope after beating all odds.
We don't choose how we are born. We don't choose how we are raised. The choices we have in this life are virtually limited.
Only on Confessions with Maria every Saturday at 8 p.m.
Sunday yes, Sunday mwami. Mtumishi hapa papa unichasero baya niweze kumushinda shetani. Sunday yes. Tuko ndani ya TV47, don't move, usisonge, pakia hapo na tuna hang out na Coffee with Movie na tunaelekea wakati wa Christmas. Please share. Ukiona kakitu tu, pitia mahali wachia mtu na utachaswa na roho ya TV47. Papa unichase roho, niweze kumushinda shetani. Sunday, wacha nimalizie chai.
Ebindaya seyo, ebindaya tanu, ebindaya moyo, ebindaya time, ebindaya nguma, kwateka vyo. Hey, what's up? My name is Movie, and thank you. For the last 3 months, we've been watching Coffee with Movie. Nasema ni asante, nashukuru. Thank you for the suggestions, for the opinions, for the suggestions of who you want us to have, and the better ideas of how we can modify this show to suit you as best as possible. Nataka niwawish Merry Christmas, Happy Brand New Year 2021. Au sio? It will be bigger, greater, fuller, excellenter. Au sio? I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New 2021, yo.
We let you take us through your journey.
The report of the scan came out. The doctor told us that the scan is showing my baby had already passed on.
I don't like people standing too close to me. I don't like people standing behind me.
and give hope after beating all odds.
We don't choose how we are born. We don't choose how we are raised. The choices we have in this life are virtually limited.
Only on Confessions with Maria every Saturday at 8 p.m.
Sunday yes, Sunday mwami. Mtumishi hapa papa unichasero bayayiniweze kumushinda shetani. Sunday yes. Tuko ndani ya TV47. Don't move, usisonge.
This is TV47. Happy holidays.
We're back, Coffee with MBUVI. We're at that portion of Ekobisi. Actually, no. We are moved further from the Ekobisi. Ekobisi is cabbage in cucumber. To the place where the light dawn. There are spare parts in heaven, as Esther Liana tells us. Moving on.
Yes, so...
Sip some coffee first.
All right. Thank you.
At least, asijika kuna spare part ya kahawa in heaven. Kunywa kahawa hapa, iko tu hapa. All right.
Thank you. Yeah. So, that time... the light, there was light, and then it's like
you were the place
whole,
part of spare parts in heaven.
Yeah,
and
something happened. A surgical experience happened. I started moving my hand because my right side was the whole of it was paralyzed, and the first thing that happened was my eyes came back because you couldn't see the black thing. My eyes came back.
Right.
Like the pupil came back to normal on focus. I could see because that time, the whole time, I could not see anything.
Yeah.
So this time I could see, and then the brain started. You know, you could. I can't even explain what was, but it was like a surgery that was taking place. You know, and that time, I remember a nurse was there, and I called her because they wear badges, and I called her name, and I told her I want to go home. And the nurse could not understand what I'm saying because this is somebody who could not see, and I'm looking straight at her. And I had sat down and I could not see because everything was being done for me on bed. Like I could not do anything for myself. But this time I sit down, I look it straight into her.
You sit down?
Yes. And I tell her, I want to go home, call my parents. So she, instead of responding to me, she rushes out and goes to call the doctor. So the doctor comes and says, this is impossible. There's no way this is possible in any science or medical terms. This cannot be explained. And when my parents come, you know, they cannot. You know, when a doctor says this must be a higher power, this is not
when
us.
A doctor says
they don't.
That.
Yeah, you know, this is indeed God who has done it. So I was released that day. That same day, I went home. And I told my dad, I need to go home. I need to go back to school. But I was still very weak.
And this is how many days later?
You're talking about 2 weeks later, because I was remaining with 2 days. Yeah. So I went on the day of those days we used to have cleaning of desks.
And then could you rehearsals of how you're going
that
to
is
see.
The word I was looking for.
Rehearsal. I'm a doctor too, you know.
So I went to do the rehearsal. That's the day I went, but I had to go with a lot of medication because I was very weak. And when I went to school, I was still asking God, surely, how do I do this? Because my hand was still not very strong.
You're right-handed?
Yes. I couldn't write much. So I told God, you know me, when I was doing my exam, I was just ready to just repeat.
Yeah.
So I do my exam and, oh, heaven is there. So I was able to pass and I was called to Kenyatta University. The first university that actually received 4 calling letters. JK Watt. I was to go to JK Watt and then KU came. So I went to...
You made it?
Yeah, I made it. I made it to the university, which was a miracle. Actually, my teachers are still, actually now they call me the woman of God. They're, you know.
What?
So I made it to the university. And glory to God. So I was able to continue, but it was still a struggle. So in first year in the university, I got poisoned by people I thought were my friends. Yeah, I got poisoned, and it was crazy. I think it gave me an opening eye to understand that it's not every person that you relate with. Because me, I'm very giving. I'm very out there. I take people as they come. So it gave me that restraining, position of looking at people with analytical eyes. Yeah. So I got poisoned. Long story, but I was able. Actually, the whole poison. My parents woke up. I think if there's somebody they have prayed for in this life, it's me.
It's you.
They woke up in the middle of the night. I was crawling because now I felt like my tummy.
Home. Right.
Yeah, I never stayed there because I was still in ministry. I started singing very long time. My recording, my first recorded. So I couldn't do university, so I had to do because of ministry and that. So my parents, what happened is that they came and prayed for me, and the poison came out. I vomited the whole poison, and that house was stinking. Like the poison was so strong. Well, that's another journey. I think I've been poisoned 3 times, because even in my workplace I was poisoned. But anyway, a story for another day. But then after that, in second year, I got paralyzed again. What happened, I was taking care of a little girl. She was epileptic. And this day she tells me, you cannot go anywhere. You need to remain at home so that we can, I can just spend, she was 10 years, I can spend time with you. I didn't know that was the last day I would see her. So after spending the day, she just slept. My dad tucked the kids in and went to tuck her in, and she said, oh, she's gone. That time, grandma was living with us. So because our house has stairs, I had my dad calling my grandma. So I hid behind her, because we joke a lot. I hid behind her in the stairs. And then my dad says, Bahati is gone. And I fell from the stairs down and collapsed.
Shock and my.
Yeah. So I was rushed to the same Mater hospital, and then my heart stopped beating. Actually, they were saying it was thread. It was very narrow. So I was put on machines that will help me, pump my heart and stuff. And when I woke up, I could not be able to move. I was paralyzed from my waist downwards, and I was told I would never walk again.
From the waist down?
Yes. And I was taken home, and being taken home, I stayed there for 1.5 months, paralyzed. And then one time, God sends a lady. Her name was Nema. She didn't know, I didn't know her. Even today, I saw her once, and that was it. And she was to go to this house and tell the lady that is sleeping on that bed to pray for you. To me, I felt like God was mocking me when she came in. Because she came in like, she came in like she knew me. And I was in bed. I couldn't do anything. I was in bed. I was weak. My body was turning yellow, my lips had turned black, my tongue was black. Actually, it was in a very bad position. So God sends a lady and tells her, go to this house and tell her to pray for her. That lady, I don't know her. And when she comes, she speaks like she knows me. So she's ushered to my room, because they thought it was one of my friends.
A relative or something.
Yeah, so when she came in, she said, God told me you pray for me. She had a cancerous ulcer. When she would cough, you would see blood on her ankle, and I was like, no, I told her no, I can't. I need the help more than you.
Too.
And she said, I think she was very adamant, and she said, God told me you need to pray for me, and this is what I did. I arrogantly said, I didn't pray. And I won't say I did pray, because I told her, by the stripes of Jesus, you're healed. And this is what God does. He uses that same word so that he can prove that it is not you who has done it. Wow. He used that word to heal her. and she became whole, and I was left sick.
I've always wondered why that happens.
And you know, and I really had a struggle with God, because I started developing hard feelings with God and asking him, God, what's up with you? Like, why did you have to heal and not me? Am I not, no, you know, that time you're always in ministry, you've never done anything wrong. So you're like, God, hey, it's me. What's happening? And then God began to work on me. And he told me, Esther, I am dealing with pride. I'm dealing with something called pride in your life. Until the day you realize that it is not you,
but it's me through you.
Yeah, you have to give glory to me and never take glory to yourself. Because I think I'd reached that point where pride was too much in my life. Because I would go, if it's ministration, oh, you call me for me, I would deliver. And then I started feeling like I'm so entitled. Like if I'm not around, it can't happen.
Yeah.
And I think God was shaping my character through that. And he let me stay on that bed again for another 1.5 months.
What?
Feeling like that. And then when he now now it was time for him to heal me, he spoke and he said, I want to meet with you tonight. But I didn't understand what the meeting was about. So he had to reveal that to my parents, because they used to pray for me throughout, and they carried me from my bedroom to the living room. Wow. And they just started praying. You know, they didn't know what they were doing. They were just praying and not understanding what. And light filled, physical light. We are talking about physical light filled the room. And that's when I had a divine encounter with Jesus. Long story short, I saw, the first thing I saw was a hand stretched from the wall. Wow. He said, hold my hand. I couldn't, because I had never had a physical divine encounter. You can have vision dreams, but I never had that physical. I say, hold my hand. And then there was this form of being, pure being. I see people explaining Jesus, but I cannot be able to explain how he looks. You know,
it's beyond our perception.
Beyond, it's not the pictures you see. You know, sometimes people, it's beyond how, it's not how people explain it. And he said, hold my hand. And he touched my hip. And he said, hold my, he lifted me up. And he started walking. As my parents were watching, they would see the light, but they saw the light. But I was seeing Christ himself. Them, they were seeing a light, a very bright light.
You saw Christ.
Yes. And we started walking. We started walking, and people asked me how I was able, because he touched my tongue, and he said, I'm going to give you the gift of many tongues. And you will be able to, the nations you go to, you'll be able to understand their dialects. You'll be able to talk. You'll be able to communicate with them.
Has that happened?
Yeah. How do I sing Igbo? So what happened, it touched my tongue, and it's a lot of things that I'm going to include in my books. But I remember we walked, and he was giving me instructions of what I need to do about my life and the things he has, the plans he has for me, for my family and ministry. And after that, when it was all done, like normality came, I looked, what is happening? I couldn't understand. So I ran into my room and slept, because I thought I was dreaming. I didn't want to talk to anybody, 2 days. And then after that, that's when I was like, oh, wow, this happened. And then after that, for it to be realized, I went to mission in Uganda. And in Uganda, we had some missionaries who were there. And these Ugandan people give me a mic and tell me, they were singing, and they tell me, continue singing.
What they were singing?
Yes. So I hold the mic, I don't know what they're doing, and I started leading in Uganda and doing their I don't know, but they could understand what I was saying. That's when I had a confirmation, oh, so what was happening is happening. But then, because I was so ashamed of it, you see, it's not something you can tell people that this is happening to me. Also, I kept it again. I kept it to myself. But then after that, the journey continues. That's not the end of it. So I continue. I start working. I'm a teacher by profession, although resigned. And then in 2015, come from work, I'm sleeping and all hell goes. Like, I sleep and my left side stops functioning. So I'm supposed to go to work in the morning, and my dad is wondering, it's 8 and she's not gone. So they knock in my door and I'm not opening, I'm not responding. So they force in. When they come, they say they found me like kicking. It's like I was going and my whole left side had turned black.
Now it's the left.
Yes.
Usually the first time around it was like
the right
the left.
legs, and now it's the left side. So I was taken to the hospital, put in machines, and I stayed for 12 hours without responding. And so when I woke up, I was paralyzed. And this paralysis was the longest because I stayed for 1 year. So on my left side, paralyzed, it was black, and that's when I lost everything. So I lost my job. I was to be married 3 months to. The wedding had to be off because this guy felt, she's paralyzed. I can't deal with paralyzed people. So he moved on to another person. And I think that was now the job experience, because I lost the job, I lost my health. I was to get married and that had to go. So my friends went. The people you think, these are my die-hard friends. Yeah. So they disappeared. I was alone. And that was the time God was teaching me rest. So for 1 year, I was paralyzed. God was equipping me for ministry. That time I had already released Imela. And I had been called for a world tour to go and, but then 2015 got paralyzed. Everything got lost. And, in 2016, almost, I stayed 1.5 years. 2017, that's when God was able to cut the story short. God was able to heal me and immediately healed me. I was appointed as a director Africa for Talent Awards. Yes. And then after that, immediately I was also appointed as a PA to a presidential candidate.
Hello. Tell me a little bit. I know we are short of time and our time is well spent. But I wanted you to just mention a little bit about your song. We're gonna play it. Is it Imela?
Yes, Imela.
That is the opener.
Well, the other songs are. It's the same. It's the one and the
Imela.
same song.
Right.
Yes. So Imela, I did it. Actually, what happens for me, I don't write my music. I just go and sing. I went and sang, and when I sang, my producer asked me, "What is this that you're singing?" I said, "I didn't even know what I was singing." So we stayed 2 years with my song in the studio. Like 2 years, it's there, and I was not comfortable releasing the song.
Because you don't know what you sang.
Because I was not even understanding how people will take it. Why is a Kenyan singing another dialect? Yeah, and it's deep dialect. Wow. So, and I was like, it stayed for 2 years. So by the time I released it, it was a signal by God, because it took a Ghanaian pastor to come and say, whatever you're holding, you need to release it because it has an assignment.
And he didn't even know who you are or what you sang.
So he had just come to visit and he said, whatever you're holding, that you're holding back, you need to release it. And it has an assignment for people. So when I release it, I didn't even take it to the studios, but it still shocks me. But it has nothing to do with me. I say, whatever God puts in us, it is not for us, it's for people and for his glory.
In a summary,
yes,
there's a verse that says, in view of all these things,
yes,
give a summary note of something that can encourage somebody. Half a minute.
And
then give us your handles.
There is nothing impossible with God. That's what I always say. And everything that you go, every pain that you go through, every kind of struggle that you go through in life, it has a purpose. You have to understand your assignment, and you have to understand that God is greater than the pain that you see. So anytime you experience something, do not see the obstacle, do not see that pain, see what it is going to do after that, because my pain has birthed my purpose. Today I can be able to heal the wounds of people who are, can relate with what I have gone through through my own experience. So I always say that I was that, the sacrificial lamb that God needed to use for somebody to get healed, delivered, and saved. So it is possible. Nothing is impossible with God.
Is impossible.
If you trust in Him.
Whatever you think is impossible is Him possible. I'll see you. Esther Liana, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Just give her that story. When you meet Esther Liana on the streets, don't ask her how old she is, because she didn't know. You know why? Some parts she was given new. So some parts are 10 years old, some are 3 years old. She has no idea of whatever. What testimony do you have? Do you want to have to come and share with us a testimony on Coffee with Movie? Talk to us, tell us. It's been fabulous being with you. Amazing story, like a movie, only on Coffee with Movie.